Welcome to Booked Up. I am not Diane, the circulation manager. I am Sydney, Adult Services Program Coordinator.
And I'm Mary, head cataloger. Wait a minute. What happened to Diane?
Well, Diane has been on vacation and was last seen on a cruise ship somewhere and has failed to return.
Oh, so I'll bet she's on a deserted island with a margarita in her hand.
Quite possibly.
Lucky her. Okay, we'll just pretend you are her, but without the tan and the manicure. And you don't have to wear that mask.
Oh, thank you. Well, Diane was going to talk about her new books, specifically thrillers, including crime thrillers, legal thrillers, spy thrillers, and psychological thrillers.
Well, I'm not thrilled about it, but James Patterson has this category pretty well locked up when it comes to bestsellers.
Some other popular authors in the genre are Ruth Ware, B.A. Paris, Lucy Foley, Alice Feeney, Alex, you have to help me with this last name.
Michaelides.
Thank you. Catherine Stedman, and there are so many other good ones.
And those ones you just mentioned represent a new generation of thriller authors.
Freda McFadden is another author who has a huge following. She was never on our radar until the release of The Housemaid. It went viral on Book Talk and became a New York Times bestseller. Now it's hard to keep any of her books on the shelf. So let's take a look at some of the new and upcoming releases that will keep you on the edge of your seat this spring.
You should have pictures of them coming up.
So we have Good Half Gone by Taryn Fisher, End of Story by A.G. Finn, The New Couple and 5B by Lisa Unger, Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth. And then on our next slide, we'll see 4 more titles. Still See You Everywhere by Lisa Gardner, She's Not Sorry by Mary Kubica, None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, Everyone Here Is Lying by Sherry Lapina. That should keep us all very busy this spring.
Yeah, and there were like 3 Lisas on that list. I don't know what is with Lisa authors and thrillers. But I want to mention again our genre labeling of these books. We don't have a label for thriller or suspense fiction, but we do have a label for mystery books, and I think they're going to bring this up on the screen for us to look at. There he is, our Sherlock Holmes figure on a blue background. This is far and away the most checked out category of fiction at our library and at most public libraries. The reason why we don't label thriller or suspense books is that it can be very difficult to distinguish between these very close categories.
So how can you be sure about a mystery, though, since we use that label?
Usually there's a genre subject heading in the bibliography of the book that tells me it's detective and mystery fiction. These are books that have a detective or a police officer type lead character, and the book is a police procedural. It shows the steps of solving the crime. And usually you, the reader, figure out the mystery at the same time as the lead character. But a thriller might not involve police at all, and if they're in there, they might be minor characters. And sometimes you, the reader, know who done it, but the main character might not know. And lastly, a suspense fiction book has the main character in perpetual danger with propulsive pacing. It keeps the pages turning, it never lets up. So since sometimes these books have elements of all 3, which label would you choose?
So rather than crowd the spine of a book with a bunch of labels, we use just one or none.
Yep, that's the idea. And really it's up to the reader to decide which one it is that they've just read. We try to accurately label, but we don't have the time to read each book before it goes to the shelf.
If only. So many books and so little time. If you like to read psychological thrillers, you'll probably enjoy movies based on thrillers as well. There have been several film adaptations of very popular novels. A few of them are more well known, like Gone Girl, based on the book by Gillian Flynn, The Girl on the Train, that is a Rachel Hawkins book, and of course Silence of the Lamb, one of the more disturbing ones. Here's a few others on this next slide. So you can stop over at the library and pick up a book or watch the movie, but the book may always be better.
Definitely. People have strong opinions about that, and usually the book is better. This is a real group of classic films here.
We see Shutter Island, Misery, Children of Men, The Firm, Murder on Orient Express, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and Women in the Window. And some of these, there's been several film adaptations of them.
You know, in our last show, You and Danny talked about spring-themed library programs that were held in March, and some of them were gardening-oriented. I didn't have a chance to mention gardening books back then, but it's still spring, and of course we have an excellent selection in our nonfiction stacks. But there's a distinction in the Dewey Decimal numbers for these that I want to point out to our readers, so they don't ignore an important related category when they're creating and maintaining their gardens.
Oh no, not the Dewey Decimal System again.
You know I eat, drink, sleep, breathe, and dream Dewey, Sydney. But this makes sense in this case because you need to design your garden before you plant it. Landscape design is an architectural art, so it's in the 700s in the stacks with books about art and recreation. But planting and caring for the actual plants is in the 600s, the technology section, because gardening is agricultural technology. Most patrons, when they browse the stacks, they'll see the vegetables and flowers in the 600s and they get distracted and they don't even notice the landscaping design books further on in the 700s.
But as always, patrons can ask for help at the reference desk if they are looking for something. And upstairs, you'll also find our seed library with many seeds available for free and some books on display near it.
Oh, that's handy. And I have a couple of brand new books in each category here to show you. This is Field Guide to Outside Style. This is a landscaping book, and you'll find it at 712.6 in the stacks. And then in the 635s, with the actual planting and care of technology section, we have flower books. We have organic food. And we even have houseplants at that number.
Oh, I've read that one. I really enjoyed that one.
Did you actually try to grow something?
I have managed to not kill everything in my house, human and plant life alike.
Excellent, excellent. And lastly, what most suburbanites are obsessed with, growing the perfect lawn. Are you obsessed with that? I'm not.
No, I'm trying to convince my husband that we should plant clover in our side lawn and get rid of all the grass.
I specialize in dandelions myself.
Okay, well, so now it's time for me to put on my true self and talk about some upcoming programs. We're going to take a quick break.
She looked great there in the middle. I didn't see.
Hello again, it is still Sid from the library, and before we dive into what upcoming programs we have, I wanted to take a moment to show everyone how to find these events and more on our online calendar. So we have a quick video we're going to show. This is the new online calendar that we got February of 2023. And so we've had it for a little over a year now, but it is a little bit different, still a way of navigating. It does take people outside of our website. So let's pull that up. On our homepage of ptlibrary.org, we have a few tabs at the top to help navigate our website. Using the Library has information about book clubs, meeting spaces, and other services at the library. Kids and Teens and Tweens page has information specifically for the youth, and we'll come back to what's happening. Resources has all the links to online resources and more information about things available at the library. About us, it will help you win library trivia. We were founded in 1957, if anyone asks, and support us as ways to help support the library and the Library Foundation. Now back to what's happening. So here you'll find library news, which is a blog and news post from us, and then our summer reading and Read Local, Eat Local. And then when you click it, it'll take you to an external site for events calendar. You'll see at the top, it'll take you back to the library website, events calendar, or request a room. So when you scroll down, you'll see some features, featured events, and then let's go ahead and look at April, since that's probably when you'll be watching this and not when it was recorded. The colors of the programs correspond to age groups at the left of the page, and at a glance you'll see if a program has registration open, as a wait list, or is full. Sometimes programs or events do not require registration, and when you click on a program you can view a description and speaker information if available. If there is registration, you'll be able to scroll down and complete the fields, and you can join from home or the library if there are hybrid programs like the one shown here, our upcoming landscaping with native plants. You'll just have to select if you want to attend in person or online. Other times, the program may not be open for registration yet, so registration typically opens 4 weeks out. For some of our more limited, like children's story times, it's only 2 weeks. When you do register, you will get a confirmation email and a reminder email 2 days before the program. If you can't do this from home, no worries. You can give us a call at the library and we'll get you on a list if able. So that's how registration for events is viewed on our event calendar. So we're going to talk a little bit more about upcoming April-May programs. So we have 2 new groups for adults starting in April. The adult writing workshop will be led by local author Lisa Grayson. Lisa wrote this book, The 5 Wellness Archetypes, and is the owner of a local business, Brilliant Biographies. The adult writing workshop is for adult writers just starting their journey or looking for how to begin organizing their thoughts. So registration is required for this group because it's going to be hard to give feedback for, a group of 50 people, so we want to keep it a little smaller. The next new group we have starting is the Gentle Grief Group, and it's led by another local resident, Lynn Ireland Knight. Lynn is a certified death doula and has had experiences in her life with the tragic loss of her son a few years ago. She wants this group to be a supportive environment for individuals to process and share the grief experiences. There's no registration for this group that's going to meet once a month starting in April, and she's also going to be back in May to give a standalone presentation about green burials. Talking with her has led me down a rabbit hole of death customs and history of current standard practices in the United States and how we bury people and why we do it, and it's been absolutely fascinating, and I look forward to learning more about her, about local options for green burials at her talk on May 15th.
That's great for sustainability.
It is. It's been really interesting, and a lot of people think that cremation must be way better, but the amount of fossil fuels it takes to actually cremate a body, you're not any better off. I mean, maybe. I guess it depends on what your end goal is there.
Right.
Something else that's returning to the library in April is Chernobyl, with local photographer and PT resident Michael Harriton. So Michael traveled to Ukraine in 2016 and 2018 and spent time at the site of the nuclear disaster. His presentation addresses the isolation and abandonment of Chernobyl with stories, interviews, and images of Chernobyl's survivors, victims, and the Babas still living there. So here's some photos from some of his trips. The left picture shows the constructed confinement dome over the still extremely dangerous site. And the right photograph is of an abandoned cottage and in the exclusion zone.
It's amazing he got in and out before the war.
And then here are 4 of the aforementioned Babas who chose to defy evacuation mandates, and they remain in the exclusion zone. And on the right is a picture of photographer Michael Harriton standing at the edge of the Red Forest, the world's most radioactive piece of land.
Babas with babushkas on.
Yes. So he'll be here Wednesday, April 24th, which is 2 days before the 38-year anniversary of this nuclear disaster. And earlier, Mary also mentioned some gardening books and some new things that we have. So we also have several upcoming programs about gardening as well. So on April 3rd, we are going to welcome back Dr. Candy DeBerry from W&J. So she's going to be talking about native plants that'll thrive in our yards. We also have our annual plant swap scheduled for April 29th. You can bring landscaping plants, indoor plants, garden plants to this event. Just make sure it's not invasive. And we have some links on our website, on our event calendar about that. And any soil you're bringing in, check to make sure it's free of invasive jumping worms.
Frightening.
Terribly so. A clear sign that you have invasive jumping worms is the top of your soil looks like coffee grounds because they process the soil so quickly and deplete all the nutrients out of it.
I'm horrified.
It's so much fun. It's great. You never know what you're going to learn at the library. And if you want any more information about that, just reach out to me and I can hook you up. So next up is the Giant Oaks Garden Club annual plant sale and garden market. So this is a rain or shine event, and it starts promptly at 9 a.m. on Saturday, May 18th. They always have a ton of plants, indoor plants, outdoor plants, plant accoutrement. They've got gardening vegetables too, so there's a ton of stuff. And then another new group we're starting in May is called Table Talk for Adults. So it's going to be a monthly conversation group on Monday mornings. And our May topic is gardening. And then rounding out all of our gardening adjacent programming is deer-resistant gardens with Pittsburgh Botanic Gardens Dr. Mark Miller. He'll be here Wednesday, May 22nd to talk about plants and tricks to save the flora from the fauna.
Greatly needed.
Very much, especially in my yard. And I want to round out my programs with a few history talks that are happening in May. So in May, we have 3 history programs. First, we have author and Professor Brady J. Kreitzer from Robert J. Morris. Yes, I think so. He's going to come and talk to us about historic battlefields in Pennsylvania on Wednesday, May 1st. The Washington County History and Landmarks Foundation will share information about cemeteries and burial grounds on Monday, May 6th. And then on Thursday, May 16th, someone from the Montour Trail Council will share information about the history and the future of the trail in our area. So Booked Up is also a great chance for us to share information about new library resources like Job Now. So Job Now is accessible with your PT library card number and offers live and free resume, career, and test prep help. So we have a short video to give you some more information about how to find that on our website and some of the topics it covers.
Wow, live help. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of good stuff on the horizons for programs, Sydney, and I'm glad you demonstrated the Job Now resource. And you talk so fast. I mean, do you need a drink of water? Can I get you an oxygen tank?
I'm going to be okay for now, thank you.
But
I'll let Diane take over the next part.
Many people will be entering the job market for the first time because graduation season's coming up. And of course, we still have books available about careers and the job search process for patrons to check out. You can find career exploration books at 331.7. That's an economics labor number. And we have more than one series of these. This is one about respiratory therapy and as a career. And I understand that there are shortages of many of the allied health careers, and this is one of them. Also in careers, career challenges, this talks about how the career game has become even more technology driven, and also how COVID has really impacted the process. And in the business management section, you'll find books about the job search, including resumes, interviewing, that sort of thing. This one, Never Search Alone, talks about how you should let everybody you know that you're looking for a job and how to do that artfully and successfully. And I like the subtitle on this one, Find a Job Worth Getting Up For. We should all have something.
Is that how you feel, Mary?
I love getting up every morning to go to the library. You know that, Sydney, because the Dewey Decimal Number System is there.
Of course,
yes,
of course.
Yes, yes. And then the old, process that we cannot get away from, you still have to go through the job interview, and we've updated our dummies book. So job interviewing for dummies.
And that's one of the live help things that they have on job now is actually live interview help and assistance.
What a great way to practice.
Yeah.
Get immediate feedback.
A few other, just because we brought some random props, so we need to show them, or else it's why did we bring these things. This is a lovely embroidered dragon made with an embroidery machine. So our Makerspace technology librarian, Sarah, will do periodic sessions, and Jamie and other library staff helps run these too. So this is something that you could come make. We have an embroidery machine that's available for checkout at the library, and then we have one that stays in the library. And then Danny, who was here last month, made this lovely derby hat. No, it's a wreath. So she's making these in June as a program, and then our Crafternoon is going to do them, and then we'll have a standalone program for them too.
Very patriotic.
Very much so. And then the very last thing, the Peters Township Public Library has partnered with the 84 Lumber Sign Shop to host a bookmark contest. So this is just the form right here on my hands. But our bookmark contest is for ages pre-K to adult. Anyone that has a library card is welcome to participate. Only one entry per person. It has to be original characters and creations, no copyright materials, digital artwork is welcome. And then we're going to have one winner from each grade age group, like bracket group, where they're going to be printed and available for summer reading. So this is officially kicking off beginning of April at the library. All the schools K through 8 in Peters Township are going to be passing them out to all the students too, but we'll have more information because that week, not next week, not spring break, but the following week is also National
Oxygen Tank.
Thank you.
Oxygen Tank.
National Library Week. So we'll have some more information about this then. But we're very excited to be working with 84 Sign Shop. They took care of the graphic design. They're going to do the printing. They already printed 3,000 plus applications for us to help get it into the school system.
Wow.
And they're making like little acrylic awards for the winners too. So
Nice.
It's really fun to work with them. Well, I think that's it for us. Anything else, Mary?
I think Diane would be proud of your job today.
Oh, Diane, you're too kind. Well, see you next time when Diane's boat will presumably be rescued from its 3-hour tour. In the meantime, let us help you get booked up with new library programs, clubs, and books. The Peters Township Public Library is open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Friday, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The library is closed on Sundays as well as Monday, May 27th for Memorial Day. But don't worry, we are always open online at ptlibrary.org. See you at the library.